good morning, and good morning. Jackie Glass, Mama, Navy vet, certified doer, and the least up legislator for the House of Delegates, 93rd District. So happy and honored and grateful to serve you, to do the do this morning. This is the morning due for certified doers just like you. I'm so happy you're getting up and getting at it. What a beautiful thing today. This is what we do, and we got a lot going on. You know, this is your time. For those of you who are new to the morning dew, this is 30 minutes of access and conversation. So if you've got questions, if you've got comments, if you've got anything in between, drop them in the comments. That is what I am here for. I'm here to make sure. Let me wipe this screen. Let me do this. Yes, I'm here to make sure that we show up, that we get informed, right? Because in this role, we believe in educate, advocate, celebrate, legislate, right? And we don't do them first three without doing that last three extremely well. But we stand on the ABCs: accountability, boldness, and coalition building. So I'm gonna get right into it. If you've got questions, community comments, all the things, drop them in the comments. If you got an event coming up, drop it in the comments so I can shout it out and make sure that we know. So the hottest thing going on right now, as you all know, I currently serve on 4 separate committees. And if you've been here a while, you're probably tired of hearing me say, good morning, Mr. Little. I serve on 4 separate committees in the General Assembly. Every single delegate, every single senator is assigned to these different committees. That is super important for y'all to know at the state level, is because sometimes there may be things that are super important to you that I'm gonna be like, all right, we're gonna have to find out who's on that committee so you can advocate to them first, so that whatever that is, they will see it before I see it. And so one of the committees that I sit on is privileges and elections. So with everything going on right now, there's been a lot of conversation back and forth about how to handle, what to handle with regards to elections. If you are not like, if you got a whole life and aren't able to pay attention, and I'm not going to say not pay attention, you pay attention to the things that you need to pay attention to. Recently, a day or so ago, the Supreme Court made a decision allowing Virginia to continue removing some of the people from its generated list of registered voters. Last time on the morning dew, I think I broke down to you guys the National Voter Registration Acts of 1993, which said that, hey, 90 days out from an election, there's always a quiet period by which we don't remove people in the event that something like what's happening right now happens. And so the Supreme Court, the U.S. Supreme Court, because it was an appeal to them, said that they can keep removing them. The idea behind this decision by our executive branch, specifically our governor, was to prevent people who aren't U.S. citizens from voting. However, the process is extremely controversial because some people who are actually U.S. Citizens were removed. And people keep saying accidentally removed. It's not accidentally removed. They were removed. That's flat out. That's like my son is saying, I accidentally ate your cookie. No, you ate my cookie, okay? That wasn't an accident. There was intent. So this situation over the past couple of days has raised a lot of concerns, and I need y'all to hang in here with me because I have an ask that I'm going to need every last one of us to do. I have an ask, okay? Good morning, Cheyenne. Good morning, Lamont. Oh, he's okay. All right. This is a beautiful thing. Mr. Little said, I moved my uncle. I love this. I moved my uncle in with me and he was voting in Ingleside. Where do I take him to vote? I'm going to answer that question. Yeah. So what you need to make sure you do is find out where his registration is. Wherever he's actually registered right now, Mr. Little, and we can verify his registration. You can go to elections.virginia.gov and see and verify where he's actually registered. If you want to drive by sometime today and see me, I can help you out to show you how to do it. But you check where he's registered and that's where he votes. If he's already updated his registrations to your address around the corner, then he's going to vote where you vote at. Okay. So it just matters where he is registered, but we want to make sure we get his stuff up to date, right? We want to make sure that he actually has if he's going to be permanently living with you, that we get his address up to date. But if his registration, if his DMV records still say that he's in Ingleside, he's going to have to go and vote at Ingleside. until y'all get that, until that gets fixed. Okay. So, and I would just check driver's license and things like that. So that's important, right? Because here's how that process works. Thank you, Mr. Little, for the question, but here's how that process works. So the Virginia executive branch decided to check the voter list daily against data from the DMV. This is why we tell y'all DMV's information is so important to identify non-citizens, right? So they use the DMV data to identify non-citizens, and that decision caused problems since even the tiniest error, like somebody forgetting to check a box on the DMV form, could lead to someone being someone's registration being canceled. So that's a big problem, and people have we have been critical, we have been extremely critical. Us and NAACP are really arguing that the timing of this is incorrect. So it's too close to the elections. This should be covered under the National Voter Registration Act of 1993. It's a problem. All right. And so again, the Supreme Court ruled that this is okay. And so what we don't want this to do, what I personally, and I care about this, what I don't want, and which you shouldn't want, what I don't think you should want either, is this to discourage people from voting, because Virginia, thank goodness, and this is what y'all need to put in your back pocket. I'm asking you to. It matters because it's a thing, right? Put this in your back pocket. In the Commonwealth of Virginia, we have what is called same day registration. Does that make sense? So I want you to say it with me so you got that in your back pocket so you know, right? We have same day registration, which means anybody, no matter who it is, who was mistakenly removed, or you got a friend that's like, I didn't even register. On election day, you can go to the you can go to your polling place and register. And if somebody were removed purposefully, they can re-register and still cast what we call a provisional ballot. And I need y'all to put that in your back pocket. So if you got a friend that it's like, I ain't registered, or I think I got removed, you can still go. We have same day registration. Okay, same day. Do you hear me? Did I say that? Did I say that again? Same day. So you can show up election day and still vote and cast what is called a provisional ballot. Who knows what a provisional ballot is? Drop it in the chat if you know what a provisional ballot is. If you know, drop that in the chat, because I think you do. I think you do. So if you do know what a provisional ballot is, let me know. Drop it in the chat, and I'm going to tell y'all, I'm going to finish up, and you then see who know what a provisional ballot is, right? All right, so again, election day, show up. Essentially, which is unfortunate, what the Supreme Court decision, it supports what the executive branch has done in this process of keeping this process that they say that they're using to keep voter lists updated. But it has really sparked a debate, a very clear, necessary, needed debate about whether this might prevent people from voting fairly. We should have been covered under federal law. And I understand that part of it is there is a piece of the federal law that says that it has to be a systematic method by which they remove people. There's this whole debate about that. The most important thing that you should care about right now is that we have same day registration, and it don't matter if you're not registered or if you got removed, you can go and vote. Doesn't matter who it is. Say, I want a provisional ballot. Okay. Say it. I want a provisional ballot. If anything, if you walk in there and they're like, well, we don't know this address, ask for a provisional ballot, right? Okay. Nobody put in the chat what a provisional ballot is. So I'm going to tell you, right? So you got this in your back pocket. All right. So provisional ballots or provisional voting, it's a special vote when there's a question about your eligibility. So if there's a question about your eligibility, even on election day, even if you've already registered, you need to ask for a provisional ballot. And that can happen for a number of reasons. If your name isn't on the voter list, or if you don't have your ID, right? If you look, I lost my ID. I had someone say, hey, the DMV, wow, did I follow up with this guy too? I might have not have. that he's supposed to get his license. His license hasn't come in yet. That's also a case, right? You lost your, you don't have your ID. If you were removed due to a registration error, or were turned away, like, do not allow yourself to get turned away ever. Okay. You can always cast a provisional ballot. And here's how it works. What will happen is the person requesting it is going to fill out the provisional ballot, right? That's your ballot, right? And provide any of that documentation required, right? Anything that they ask, you just gonna go ahead and put it on there, do the provisional ballot. After election day, there's a review of the provisional ballots to confirm eligibility. So our electoral board, which consists of 3 people, will have to meet, and they call it canvassing the ballots. It was something I did for the first time. Anybody's allowed to be there. But they're going to review all the provisional ballots to verify eligibility, right? Verify that there was a mistake. If they determine that the person is eligible, the provisional ballot will be counted. If not, then it'll be discarded. And so what that system does is help ensure that everybody gets a chance to vote no matter what, even if there's an issue with their registration, with their eligibility, that needs to be sorted out later. Okay. Do not let people leave without voting. Okay. do not. Oh, I love you. Good morning, Miss Jan. If that's you, educate me, baby. You educate me too. So if y'all got stuff in the comments, please don't hesitate to ask the questions, do all things. Yeah, you got it. Lamont, you got it. It's used by people who can't prove eligibility at the polls. But the thing about it being there is, like, we just got to know that it's an option. You had it out. Give me some. Set your intention. I love you. You got to do what? Oh, okay. You're not wearing a sweatshirt? Oh, goodness. so you got to know that the tool is there to be able to use it, right? Kind of got to know that it's a thing in order to make it a thing. That is that. There was something before that young lady came up to me, my daughter, before that young lady came up to me. Let's see. All right. So y'all got that? All right. What is our biggest takeaway today? And I need to see it in the comments. Okay. What are doers informed on today? Just put it in the comments. Just somebody say it today. What do we need to know? What is important and what we need to take away? Because what happens is you're going to be somebody's bridge, right? You're going to be somebody's way to the light. Okay. You're going to be somebody's opportunity to understand the system better. Just cause. Put it in the comments. I need to see it. Okay. Yes. Ensure everyone we know votes, right? That is the thing. Ensure that everybody votes. Vote. Yes. On top of that, making sure that making sure that you know what a provisional ballot is, and that any and everybody has the right to request one. Do not allow people to leave. Yup, there we go. I love it, Elizabeth. I love it. Provisional ballot. The government should purge voters. Yep, that's things. Yup. Okay. We have to know that. We know what a provisional ballot is now. We know that anybody has the opportunity to do it. Let's go. What I did want to give you all, in the event that there's some issues at the poll, hold on, I'm going to get the 1-800 number, 1-800 for voter, and I should know it. Assistance in Virginia. So where is it? The voter protections hotline. I think it's 866 our vote. I'm verifying right now. Yeah. Okay. So if, let's say, election day happens, right? Because you are a doer and you are in the know and you be trying to figure it out. You're going to make sure that, you're going to make sure, and I'm going to show this, right? I'm saying myself, if you have questions, if you have comments, if something weird happens at the polls where you're like, what the heck is going on? Make sure that you have this number, 866 our vote, 866 our vote. Good morning, Tanya. Hey, good morning. Okay, she said, I always come at the end. What time you begin? At 7. But the stuff is always there. We are always there. XO _ your fave, my fun size friend. Yes. So yes, That's the biggest deal. I need y'all to take away that 866 our vote. You are protected. There should be no one at the polls intimidating you. If you find that those things are happening, then what I need you to do is make sure that you use that number, 866 our vote. I'm going to say it again. Everyone has the opportunity to cast a ballot, especially if something goes wrong. Provisional ballot. Just say, I want a provisional ballot. All right. If your friends say, like, look, girl, I can't vote, I ain't even registered, it don't matter. We got same day registration. It don't matter. Just show up. Okay. Those are important things for us. The thing is the being extremely cognizant of the fact that these things, same day registration, I'm hearing bumping. That's probably because the garbage man picking up all my extra trash is scared me for a second. But the most important thing to understand is that the things like same day registration and the fact that you can't be intimidated at the polls is because there was some really good work done in the General Assembly. Remember that we live on a Dillon Rule state, and in a Commonwealth in Virginia has worked really hard, right, since 2020 to make your rights when it comes to to make your life easier in voting, because it should not be that hard. It should not. And so in 2020, 2021, right? And shout out to Delegate Marcia Price. I just have to say that because I know that she led the way on this. Goodness gracious, my computer screen is doing some things for me. In 2021, we passed, or the 2020 session, 2021, I think, passed the Voters' Rights Act, Virginia Voters' Rights Act, the VVRA, that strengthened protections for people like you in Virginia, because we were like second to last in access to voting prior to that. So you should not face discrimination. You should not face intimidation or any obstacles to voting. If you do, remember 866 our vote, right? I'm gonna put this back on the screen because I think it's important to make sure that I just have it up there the whole daggone time for you to make sure you see. So shout out to that, right? So what the key parts of the Virginia Voters' Rights Act that was passed, that went into law 2021. I keep saying 2020. I think it was 2021, excuse me. So pre-clearance, right? So similar to what the previous federal rule was, Virginia requires that any proposed changes to local voting rules have to be reviewed by the Attorney General or open for public comment to make sure that changes don't unfairly impact a specific group, right? Pre-clearance rating. You got the right to know when your local government makes certain changes. Language access. So if there's a community that has a significant number of people, this is us, right? I'm just saying, it matters whose butts are in those seats. Language access. So if there's a community that has a significant number of people that speak a specific language other than English, voting materials must, you hear me, be available in that language, helping any non-English speaking citizen fully participate in the elections. Let me say this also for our friends, because we have people, we talk about this. I wanted to bring a bill about access to certain contractors' forms. For our own knowledge, for everyone, for the good of the order, there's no national language, and English is not United States of America's national. We don't have a national language. By nature of us being a country of immigrants, we do not have a national language. So yes, it is right for us to make sure that there's access. So there's three big things. So I said, one was that pre-clearance requirement, language access. The third is protection from discrimination and intimidation. You should not be discriminated at the polls. It prohibits any voting practice, anyone that will discriminate based on race, color, language, or individuals. Or the Attorney General can take some legal action on the Attorney General can take legal action on voter suppression or intimidation if it occurs. So I say this out loud because as we walk our way through this timeline as we walk our way through the timeline of getting our presidential nominee elected, 2025, we've been talking about Project 2020, 2025. The real project 2025 is the fact that the attorney general, right, is up on the ballot next year. The governor is up on the ballot next year. The entire House of Delegates is up on the ballot next year. And so realizing, I've said we are in this situation because our executive branch decided, our governor made this decision. Who reviews, right, at the state level, all of this ish? The attorney general. So it is important that we have people that value people, the wholeness of the Commonwealth, right? So the very same person that will be elected next year would be the one who decides whether an act is discrimination or intimidation as it pertains to voting, because this law was passed in 2021. And again, shout out to Delegate Marcia Price, because Black women should have their credit. Excuse me, not people should have their credit. Let me just say that all top, right? And then the last thing was accessibility enhancement. So what the Virginia Voting Rights Act did is included that make sure that voting was more accessible. This is why you see, if you've noticed over the past, since, before the pandemic or at the pandemic, we've got more curbside voting access for people with disabilities, and that there are more options for early voting, right? There's more time and more options, so access. So this was a major step in really sort of safeguarding voters' rights in Virginia. And it bumped us up into the top 10. I think we're in the top 5 for access to voting, from all the way at the bottom to all the way at the top, with some actions by people that value everyone, no matter their values or their system's beliefs, ability to vote or ability. We value their right to vote. So what this also did, which is a really cool part of the Virginia Voting Rights Act, Voters' Rights Act, is that it also set up a voter education and outreach fund. So it set up a fund to help the Commonwealth of Virginia actually support educational efforts and help Virginians understand their voting rights and access and resources. So like, this is a BFD, right? Those 4 big things, that's a BFD. We are only in this situation and not too fazed by the BS that was happening, that has been happening at the executive branch on voting, because we have protections in place. So no one should say I can't vote, because you can. Provisional ballot. No one should say, like, I feel like I'm looking at my face like I look super serious today. No one should say they can't vote, because that's a fib, right? We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it good. And then we should just be educated, right? Know that next year is a big deal when we select our people that's going to be representing us. So I'm looking here. Sag says, how's mom? Great. A lot of good progress. A lot of good progress for her mom. Thank you for asking. I will tell her if you asked about her. She being reckless. Somebody need to set her down. I'm just kidding. No, she's good. She's working. She's walking. Yes, amen to language access. I'm with it. Amen to language access, because that's a big deal. People just being able to read the ballot. Let's go. And we have a growing Spanish-speaking population here I know in Norfolk specifically. So it's really important that we understand that we don't have a national language, and there should be access to language. All right. I don't see any major things in the chat. I'm double checking on Instagram too, to make sure we don't have anything, because that's all I got today, is that, like, we got work to do, right? Like, we got work to do. If you are trying to figure out how you can help, let me know. I'll get you to the right people. If you find out that there's some issues, like there's a problem at the polls, I'm telling you, remember, if you have questions, you have comments, 866 our vote. There's at every single precinct, there is a precinct captain. These are citizens that are not there to be partisan. They're there to just make sure that these elections run smoothly. So if you find that you have a question, or something doesn't feel right, or you're being intimidated, or the people outside of the polls are too much, you can always go to the precinct captain, or one of those people that have, they'll have a white button on that says election official. You can go to any one of them and let them know your grievance as well. Okay. You can just walk up and say, hey, there's my son was like, you remember that time we worked, and it was this lady that was just nasty, just so nasty to me and to the kids. And it was over the casino. And I was like, really, my G, like, it's not this serious to be disrespectful to children. It's not this serious, but we had to report her to the election official, because she was quite frankly, being an ass. And I just told her I love her and she got upset. I said, I love you, sis. Like, whatever you got going on, love you, mean it. And got upset. But it's all kinds of people out there, all kinds of things, all kinds of ways people are going to try to do what they do. But we're going to be doers that do the thing right. We're also going to be doers that delegate. So I need you to go ahead and delegate the task of understanding what we learned here today to another person, because you're going to teach them and then they're going to tell somebody else. Sound like a plan? Sound like a plan? Sounds like it fits with our ABCs: accountability, boldness, and coalition building. That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like. All right. I don't see questions. I don't see anything. It is now 7:34, which means the morning dew is rolling. Big wheels keep on rolling. Oh, Daniel, I'm sorry, Daniel. I saw your comment. Vote blue. Vote blue. Vote blue. I appreciate y'all this morning. I hope you're able to be well. As always, I'm Jackie Glass, Mama, Navy vet, certified doer, laced up legislator for the House of Delegates, 93rd District. Always honored to serve. So grateful to be in a space with doers just like you. I will catch you on the flip side. Be well. Bye, y'all. Thank you, Gray. I appreciate you. Thank you for all that you do too. I mean it. I mean it.